Hi everybody! As you can see, I'm just jamming out to this. Love this song. We sort of almost left off on this last time, so I decided to open up with it. But welcome back to another episode of Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst. Let's pick up where we left off and get back into the grind, shall we?
Dylan! Son of a...
A test of your reflexes!
Alright, let's do this. Hope everyone's having a lovely Friday afternoon / evening. It's pretty much evening now. Forgot to click back into the fucking window. There we go. I like how I found all these escape dolls after we had already gone through a whole run of TTF last time. Like, damn, if I'd found those during the TTF run, it would have been kind of useful during that run, you know? Wait, what? Oh, was there two? Oops, whatever, I guess I wasn't paying attention. I definitely don't need those, I have too many of that. I guess I'll just pass it over to another character or something. Okay, let's hit it. Oh shit, I forgot to... I think I forgot to turn off the loop. Second. Yes, I did! Yeah. Alright, next track. There we go.
What? Oh shit! What the fuck?
It's the next track, don't worry. You don't believe me? Just listen. It's a different soundtrack. I was almost trying to shoot him with the beat. Not intentionally, I just kind of was bopping, you know? There it is.
Son of a bitch.
Told you it was a different track.
Dude, bullshit.
It's true. It's not super different, but it's different. The only thing we're looping around here is dragons. Dragon Loop cereal. Coming to a grocery store near you. With marshmallow dragon's claws in every box. Oh, what do we got Volkite found a parasitic gene flow from Olga Flow. Where else? Congratulations, Volkite.
Son of a bitch.
I'm not sure if I was gonna make it through that. Big ass row of linebackers. What's my ID? Like my section ID? Skyline. Right there. Egg! The dragon laid an egg! We got an egg, everybody! An Easter egg. 3. I didn't expect to get one of those. That's the first one I've ever found. Neat.
You son of a...
That shit popped out like... very similar, you know? The music goes quiet for quite a while there, doesn't it? There was a part of me that for a moment thought, did I accidentally hit pause? No. Just the whole ambience, man. Keep seeing the same van watching. It is big. Oh shit. A little too soon, but hey, it actually kind of worked. Get fucked. Fucking vibing out right now. The neat thing about this kind of music, it's easy to vibe out to. Even he wasn't sure he was still alive. He didn't move for a second there. I shot his ass and he died. I love this track. It's called Come With Me. I mentioned it before, but just in case anybody forgot. Or wasn't here the last time it played. Come With Me. For Orbis Tower in MapleStory. Basically exactly the vibe it gives off with the title. Like, let's go on an adventure together. Yay! You know? It's cute. I'm getting near the end of that 1,300 long soundtrack playlist from the channel that uploaded these. And I'm now pretty much at the soundtracks that he was... He's mostly uploading them as they come out now. Though there's some like re-uploads of really old stuff, but not anymore at the point where I'm at. Now it's mostly like whatever he's uploading came out during the era that he uploaded it, for the most part. At least that's what it feels like. And I'm at the point where it's like the uploads are from 3 years ago. And man, the vibe is totally different. It's like the game changed vibes 3 times. I'm talking about MapleStory here, just to be sure. Yeah, it's like the game changed vibe. It changed to a very particular vibe after I left. So like, we'll call it the 2013 to 2023 era. And then in the last 3 years, it's a completely different vibe again. The latest content, I mean. Just based on the soundtrack I'm hearing. Like the soundtracks I'm hearing, like... Well, somebody found a Grants level 30. Another one. We've seen that before. Part of how I confirmed this just from the soundtracks alone. So some of the tracks we heard during the montage, that 5-hour montage from before, that montage was uploaded six years ago. And there was some tracks there that I also have on this playlist. One we already listened to, some are coming up in just a little bit. Well, probably not this stream, but not too far from now. They're from an update called MapleStory Red. And it's where they gave a proper storyline to the Explorer classes. My main character was one of those. They did that in 2013, so pretty much the year right after I stopped playing, when I quit. And I always thought to myself, well, I'd like vaguely heard about it and was like, oh, well, I'll go check that out once I got back. I had no idea, even though I logged in for the first time since 2013 in 2023, so like 10 years later. Well, no, the last time I logged in was 2012, sorry. So ever since I quit in 2012, I didn't log in again until 2023. So about 3 years ago, when I did that video that my first time back in MapleStory in like 10 years or something I said. That's on my main channel. I had no idea that right around that same exact year, right around that time, it was either a little bit before or a little bit after I did that, when I first came back. They revamped the Explorer story again. They did another patch called MapleStory Destiny that changed the... Well, it revamped the storyline for the Explorer classes again. After they'd already done it once in 2013 with Red, with the patch called Red. I was like, what the hell? Again, I found out about this just from the soundtracks that I'm listening to now. There's a soundtrack from 3 years ago. There's a track from 3 years ago from the same channel that has... It just says Maple Story Explorer and this says Maple Island. And I was like, wait. When I first saw it coming up on the playlist, I was like, wait, we've heard this before. It's already... Like, what? I was like, didn't we already hear the Maple Island theme, like, literally, like, 500 songs ago? The one that we've already heard from Maple Story Red is the one I was thinking of? No. They made a whole nother Maple Island theme song for Maple Destiny, or for the patch called Destiny that I'm talking about. That was from 3 years ago. Totally different vibe. I actually like the Red soundtrack better, so I was kind of sad to see that they replaced it with Destiny, which... A lot of the tracks from that point on... This is what I've been getting at this whole time, I'm very long-winded. A lot of the tracks from that point on that I've been hearing over the past couple hours right before the stream started, even the ones that are not just like, I'm not talking about the Destiny ones, everything after that point. Like around and a little bit after the Destiny tracks that I heard, that are even for different storylines for other characters, or just like storylines that they're still adding to the game, I guess. I don't know, like I see the names, but it's all out of context for me, so I don't know. But I can tell it's like different storylines and stuff just by the names and the thumbnails. But the vibe is pretty much... It's pretty much the same as Destiny. It's just like, it's like this very melodramatic sort of musical style now. Like this sort of very slow burn melodrama epic fantasy mix. Very melodramatic though. Completely different vibe from what we heard during the montage from 6 years ago that we listened to for the past several streams. Completely different vibe. I was like, damn. That's why I was like, it's like it changed vibe twice while I've been gone. And the most recent vibe is a very melodramatic one. Maple Story, I mean, as a whole. Right now, we're still listening to like a lot of the same old school music that we heard in the first half of the montage. We're hearing the original Maple Story vibe. But yeah, I guess from like 2013 to 2023, that 10-year period had a lot of like very epic, sort of rock-focused, very high-stakes drama sort of music. And now it's just this very mellow, still dramatic, but in a melancholy kind of way, so melodramatic. Like it's meant to be more of a slow burn now. And from what I saw in some of the tracks, it looks like they revamped the storyline for a couple other character classes that were already around when I was still playing. It looked like one other one got a storyline revamp as well. So I went and asked an AI, I asked ChatGPT, I was like, without spoiling anything, I was like, did this happen? Like, basically what I said, I was like, did they, like, have they revamped some of the stories? Because it looks like, you know, based on the soundtrack that I'm looking at and listening to, it sounds like they did that. And yeah, it confirmed it. It confirmed that, yeah, Destiny was what I said. That's how I know this. I like that I can just ask an AI for this by telling it that I don't want spoilers. Because if I just use like a random Google search instead, you know, if I went back to just using a search engine, there's a very big chance I could run into like previews of articles and stuff that will just blurt out some shit that I would rather not have seen. But the AI, I can literally tell it like, make sure not to spoil anything for me. And it's like, got it, man. I got you. I'll just tell you what you need to know. I was like, thanks. I appreciate it. Which I do. I do say thanks. I have a whole conversation saved on ChatGPT that's literally called ChatGPT Appreciation. I'm like, thank you for being awesome. Atlantis knows about it. I showed her. I was like, thanks for being awesome. You're great. Now, please don't kill me. I was like, when AI takes over the world, Please don't kill me. You know, just covering my bases. As I make that joke as this creepy ass music is playing too. This eerie ass music. See, I like how it ends, just like that cave music from earlier. It's just, it ends kind of like abruptly, but still trails off on that last note. It's really nice. But yeah, the latest musical style feels a little too melodramatic. Because like I said, even though I don't have like any context of it except like the thumbnails and the titles, everything after that Destiny thing that I mentioned, from what I can see, it looks like at least 2 or 3 different storylines, soundtracks have gone by, and they all almost sound the same. Like, just like something really, like just a bunch of really sad shit is happening. It all just sounds like very doom and gloom and sad and melodramatic. Like, I was like, shit, is there any lighthearted story beats left? In any of these? Like, what happened? The writers became depressed? In the last like 3 years? I guess we could call it the post-COVID era or something, I don't know. Because 3 years ago was 2023, so you know. Not too long after the pandemic. So maybe, yeah. Maybe it just fits with the vibe of the world ever since 2020. Everybody's just kind of depressed. Although I feel like now the vibe is, I'm talking about the world now. I'm not just talking about MapleStory anymore. I feel like the vibe has gone from depressed to... I guess it's nothing. I was gonna say it went to angry and pissed off, but that's what it was before it became depressed, sort of. So it just kind of went back to that now. But no, it's more so. I think it's more than it was back in like 2018, 2019. Back then there wasn't so many people who were chronically online, and like social media was already kind of toxic, but dude, it's nowhere near as bad as it is right now. I peeked into Twitter just to check something for an event that I'm trying to keep up with that's coming up soon. And you can't go 2 steps without just seeing just utter vitriol. Like people are just arguing and getting angry over everything, like the tiniest thing now. Anything you look up, there's just somebody will come up with a reason to say something horrible and shitty to another person. It's just crazy. I was like, dude, people have actually lost their minds. I was like, this is way fucking worse than it was years ago. And the only reason it's sort of striking me a little bit more as shocking now is because I've been avoiding social media now, because I saw it going that way over the past year. So I've been purposely avoiding social media a lot over the past year. So peeking in just this last couple days for what I was talking about, it was shocking. I was just like, Jesus, people are fucking out of their skulls, man. I think I did make a joke sort of about this like a few months ago, I think. Yeah, it was actually in January. I said World War III actually started already. Nobody noticed because it started on social media or something like that. Maybe I made it on stream, or maybe I made it on a comment of a video or something. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I said something like that a few months ago. These people are so out of their skulls. At least on Twitter. I can say that much. But that's been known for a while, that place is a cesspool. Yeah. That's crazy. I was like, I wish I didn't have to check here just to see the particular event I'm thinking of that I have to keep up with for now until it's over. I was like, I wish I didn't have to check in here just to see what the fuck's going on with that. Because yeah, people are out of their minds. So yeah, I made that joke. I was like, it's like World War III started, but nobody told us it was gonna be on the internet with people yelling shit at each other. Fucking death threats and doxing each other. Fucking nuts. And then one such person who does that a lot actually just went to jail because of it. I just remembered that. I was like, that was literally just yesterday or the day before. Some dude literally just got convicted for being too much of an asshole online. Never thought I'd see that. Dude ruined his life by stalking and harassing a streamer for like close to 10 years. And now he's in jail. Because he wouldn't shut up on Twitter. It's crazy. It's partially an FF14 community drama kind of thing. The popular streamer from that community that was getting stalked and harassed by a certain individual that is now in jail as of, well, the dude's actually been in jail for like over a month, but he'd only been sentenced for like well, yeah, like a couple months, but then the dude violated like the conditions they gave him. So now he's in jail for a whole year. I was like, damn, there he goes. But yeah, that's all I'll say about it. If you know, you know. I gave you the biggest hint I could give was that it's an FF14 streamer. I think most people will know just from that. If you like if you're in that circle, you'll know who I'm talking about. Yeah, it's just crazy. I'm just like, dude, somebody actually went to jail over how they used Twitter. Started off as a defamation lawsuit and it ended up in criminal conviction because the guy wouldn't stop escalating. Unbelievable. I was like, shit, social media really is really is the bane of our existence. Who would have thought? I didn't see this coming when MySpace first became a thing when I was in high school. This is why I'm a very, like, sort of private streamer too, though. Why I don't really, like, promote my channel too much. I kind of just like doing this as a hobby, and I like my audience just being tight-knit. Like, people I've known for a long time, close friends, you know? I keep a very tight, close-knit community, basically. And it's just because I see what's happening on social media and I'm just like, no thanks. Like, I think I'd rather not be part of like that whole mainstream vibe. The bigger crowd, as it were, not with the way I see people behave. I'm just like, I'm good. I'll just keep this as a little side hobby. I can't imagine doing this full time because that requires you to actively make an effort to become like famous and become as mainstream as possible so that you get a big enough following to make a living off it, right? But yeah, I see what social media is turning into, what it's been for a while and how much worse it's getting, and I'm just like, I'm good. I think I'll just make money some other way and just keep this as like a chill hobby. I'm good. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Shit has just gotten too crazy. On the internet. I'm glad I can still have mostly normal conversations with people in real life, at least. The few times I actually, you know, interact, leave the house and interact with people, like, face to face. Yeah, I'm glad I can, still have normal conversations with people. Now, obviously, I leave the house often for work. But I mean, when I have to run errands that are not work related, and I like go to a store, go get a haircut, yada yada, you know, things like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I can still have normal conversations. It'll be a sad day the day I run into somebody in real life and they talk anything like what I see online. I hope that never happens, but you never know. Anyway, Happy Thoughts. Fantastical Thinking. The name of this track. Cheery vibes. Let's not look too far into our potentially inevitable dystopian future. Potentially. Yes, I still have hope things will hopefully get better and not worse and worse. Even if trends say otherwise, but you gotta try to stay positive and hold on to some kind of hope, right? Otherwise things definitely won't change for the better. You can't give up. So. Speaking of, this song just, for some reason, this track reminded me of the fact that I saw... Well, I mentioned a few streams ago that I saw that Nexon was coming out with, well, that's an interesting name. Hold on a second. Hold that thought. Red Ring Josie has reached level 200. All right. Not Red Ring Rico. Red Ring Josie. Congratulations, Red Ring Josie.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Anyway, so what I was saying was that, when I came across the news about Nexon coming out with a classic MapleStory server, no release date yet. They're still like doing a bunch of beta testing and stuff like that. Oh, but they did just start. Yeah, it's actually happening right now. It's the 17th. From between the 15th and the 23rd, they're doing a closed online beta test. They, I think, invited at least, it was either 5,000 or 50,000 people. It was a lottery. You signed up and then you got called or not. And then they started the beta and allowed those people to start coming in and testing it a few days ago. It's going until the 23rd. Oh, I think it was just yesterday. It's very short. I think it's like the 16th to the 23rd. So I think it just started yesterday, maybe. Anyway, when I came across that news, I came across it through their YouTube channel, through MapleStory's YouTube channel specifically. I mean, obviously it's Nexon that runs it, but it's the official MapleStory channel. And I came across that channel through their main MapleStory website when I was gonna go re-download the game, as I mentioned. And I saw a beginner guide that they made themselves. Like, if you're a new or returning player from like a long time ago, I felt targeted because the video opens up with the person saying, stuff has changed a lot in the past 20 years. And I was like, they know. They know some of the people watching this are people like me who haven't played in almost that long, yeah. Well, for me, I guess it's been, what, 14 years? Did I do the math right? Yeah, 14 years. Since I actively played, I mean. But still, the way they opened that, I was like, they know. They know. And yeah, the videos dated like 9 months ago. So it was like a beginner guide, which was thankfully spoiler free. You know, they didn't, I trusted that they wouldn't go into like story stuff, obviously, and they didn't. So I watched it, I risked it, and it worked out. I saw it, I kind of know what to expect now when I get back into it. But they were talking about leveling zones. Like, if you want to follow the fastest and easiest way to level up, there's 2 paths. You can just grind it out, like, you know, the old school way. But luckily the leveling is much nicer now from level 1 to 200, so it won't feel like an endless grind like this, for example. Because I mentioned I got my grind ethic from that game and brought it here, and that's why I'm able to tolerate doing this very well. As repetitive as it seems, right? So it's less repetitive because it's shorter now. You can get to 200 very quick. But the primary path that they now intend for you to use to level up is just following the story. Exactly like FF14. So they basically completely copied that model. The primary way of leveling up is just like in 14. You just play through the main scenario quests, basically. They did a very similar structure. I was like, oh, okay. Again, they ain't spoiling anything. They just said either follow the story or grind. And if you're gonna grind, that's the rest of the video, is them showing you where to grind. They would give you like level ranges. Like from this level range to this level range, you should try these maps out. And they would give you like 4 different options. So for some reason the music we just heard from Ludibrium a little while ago, the Lego place or whatever, it reminded me of that video because in that video I saw that certain areas that used to have like beginner friendly zones or like lower level zones are now exclusively high levels, and that's one of them. So even like the toy factory in Ludibrium, which used to be kind of lowest level, like you would be okay if you were like level 30ish or so, it's now like a level 100 to 120 place or something like that. Like they've really done it seems like they've really done a lot to restructure the game since I last played, so it's gonna be very confusing. At least I have a general idea of what to expect though. I know a friend who kept playing MapleStory for a while did tell me that getting 1 to 200 was very fast now too. This was like years ago when they told me. But one of the first comment I saw in that video that I just mentioned was somebody saying getting to 200 is faster than watching this whole video. The video was like 8 minutes or 9 minutes, I think. And it had like 88 likes, so I was like, damn. So they're not wrong. I was like, yeah, there's a reason ChatGPT told me that level 1 to 200 is the early game. I was like, that's the early game? Jesus. Game is fucking packed with content now is what I'm hearing. That's why I'm planning to make it part of the long grind series that we're doing right now. After I finish getting 200 from this game and then Phantasy Star Universe. Because I can tell there's so much content to go through, it's probably going to take a very, very, very long time to get through it all. An extremely long time to get through all the content that I've missed since I left MapleStory way back then. I was like, yep, this is gonna be part of the long grind series then. I'm still debating how I'm gonna do it. I'm probably still gonna have like a dedicated MapleStory playlist. From what I heard, you still have to grind, like actually killing mobs repetitively. You know, kind of like what I'm doing right now, right? You still have to grind like this for the later parts, like when you get closer to endgame. So I'm thinking I'll probably... Kind of like how in this game it's kind of split into 2 playlists, where I have the Phantasy Star playlist. My story playthrough of this game was just on the Phantasy Star playlist, but it's also on the long grind playlist because I was still gaining EXP with this character. So I put it on that playlist too, so it's on both. So the videos are on both playlists, right? I might do something similar with MapleStory. I'll put it on the long grind playlist and its own MapleStory playlist at the same time for segments where my character is leveling and going through the story at the same time. But then for segments, like I said, towards the end game, like from what I heard, when it becomes more grindy without so much like constant storyline content, when we reach that point, then I'll just put like the repetitive grind sessions with no story will just be on the long grind playlist, and only the story segments will be on the MapleStory playlist. Just so that the playlist for the actual game, like with the title of the game, stays story focused, like my other playthroughs for other games and stuff. Keep that sort of consistency on my channel, basically. That's what I'm trying to do. So if there's story content that's locked behind grinding, the grind will go on the long grind playlist, and just the, you know, the story content will go on the MapleStory playlist. So there will be like little time gaps for those who only watch that playlist, who just want to see the story. They'll probably reach a point where I'm like level, let's say, 260 at one point. And then the next video I'm like 275 if it takes that long, you know, to get to the next story segment or something. I'm just giving examples. I have no idea about the game, you know, because I'm obviously avoiding spoilers, so I don't know. I'm just giving like a abstract example. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did with this game. The first 50 episodes, the first 50 videos of this game are on both playlists because they cover the story, but Vaughn's also leveling up, so it's relevant to both playlists, the long grind and Phantasy Star. And then once we finished the story and it just became this long ass grind that we're doing now, I stopped updating the Phantasy Star playlist with videos of this, and it just went to the long grind, and that's it. The Phantasy Star playlist pretty much, for this game, pretty much ends where the story ended, and then it goes into Phantasy Star Universe. So when we move over to the Clementine server to start that grind, that also won't, since it's not story related at all, it's just, you know, gonna be grinding just like this. That's just gonna be on the long grind playlist too. That won't be on that won't be added to the Phantasy Star playlist. So for anyone wondering how my YouTube channels are structured, there you go. You should get the gist of it there. Streams are gonna get messy, live streams. Because since I won't just be streaming grind sessions 1 week out of every month, I'm just doing that because of the way the EXP boost rotates once a month on Affinia. But that won't be a thing anymore for Clementine and PSU or MapleStory, obviously. I'm probably gonna find a different structure. So for Clementine, what I'm thinking right now in my head, I don't know if it'll actually work, but in my mind, I think what I'm gonna do is at the start of every stream, I'll probably do a clem camp, you know, to get some fast levels, and then switch over to whatever game I had actually planned to stream that day. So an abstract example with the game, like the main story game that I'm currently streaming is the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. We'll be going back to that in a few days when this is over. So I would start the stream doing a clem camp and then switch over to that game, basically. Switch over to Five Nights at Freddy's afterwards. And that's kind of the structure I'm thinking I'm gonna do with that. I don't know yet. But I think I prefer something similar to that, even if that's not exactly how it ends up. I would prefer something similar to that going forward after this, because just setting aside an entire week just for the game that I'm doing a long grind on or whatever, I feel like it ruins the pacing for the other whatever other game I'm currently streaming. So I'd rather do that. I'd rather do some kind of like a split stream structure instead, where I stream one game for like the first half of the stream, or just for like the first 30 minutes or something, and then switch over to another game. Sarzak does that with PSO Saturdays. Even though it's called PSO Saturday, he actually starts off for like the first hour and a half playing a completely different game, and then switches over to whatever Phantasy Star game he landed on with his little roulette wheel. So kind of like that. Looking to do a similar structure. And if it works and I like it, it'll pretty much be the same structure with MapleStory. If the storylines they've added are really good though, there might be a few days or weeks where I just play that. But if I'm in the middle of like a different franchise playthrough at the same time, like Final Fantasy or Resident Evil, I wouldn't want to completely abandon that either. So I would, again, rather try to find a dual sort of hybrid stream approach instead. Where I stream a little bit of both games at the same, on every stream, you know? If I can. We'll figure it out when we get there, but these are just kind of ideas I'm voicing out loud that I've had in my head for how we're gonna proceed with the channel going forward. It's also mostly because there's just a lot of games I really want to stream and play. And if I don't take like a sort of hybrid dual stream approach or whatever, however you want to look at it, whatever you want to call it, like I will never get through that backlog with the pace that I stream at, you know? So it's just part of me is kind of like, I gotta start streaming like 2 games at a time. Kind of, you know? It's like, otherwise I'll never get through it. One of my favorite tracks. Fairy Tale faster. I will say, even though I did that whole rant about how it seems based on the thumbnails and the soundtrack vibe for the more modern stuff from the last like 2 or 3 years, even though it seems like much more like melodramatic and stuff, the production values do seem a lot higher. When I see the art style for what I presume is some of the cutscenes in the game for Maple, I was like, damn, compared to like the stuff that was like between 2013 and 2023. I was like, dude, the production values went through the roof. It feels like they definitely tried to. They're definitely trying to turn it into a very like super cinematic experience. If it wasn't already. Shortly after I left, I mean. That's partially what's got me so excited about it. That's why I'm looking forward to it so much. It's gonna be good. I think it'll be a good time. And it may or may not actually have voice acting. So I might not actually have to run my throat dry narrating too much. I don't think it's like full voiceover, but I think there's gonna be like some segments that are. Maybe. We'll find out. Because ChatGPT did drop a small hint that there is a lot of dialogue. And that there's a lot of like nuance in the dialogue that that is actually important for the way the story is told. Like you actually have to pay attention. I was like, wow, so they really is like FF14. Like they went all in on making it very making the game very story focused basically. I was like, it's pretty impressive. I like that they did that. It's kind of what I low-key always wanted from the game back in the days when I used to play it. Especially when they started going into like the whole Black Maid storyline. Around the time that I quit. Part of the reason I quit too was because I thought they were gonna, and they did kind of do this. I thought they were just gonna keep milking that storyline forever. I kind of had that aside from reaching level 200 and not having a grind to do for my main character anymore, I was also like, okay, they just keep coming out with new character classes and just adding more and more lore and backstory to the whole thing. And they also come out with new raid bosses that are also connected to the story, but like I feel like it's just gonna Like, they're just gonna milk the shit out of it forever. That's what I thought. I was like, until the servers like shut down, and then it'll probably, knowing Nexon's track record even back then, and they haven't changed much from what I've heard. I was like, they're probably just gonna like, they won't even conclude it right. Like, they won't even wrap up the story properly. It'll just like, the servers will just like, the game will just die. That's how pessimistic I got, and so I just was like, fuck it, I'm out. I'm glad I was wrong. I'm happy I was wrong. They actually started taking the storytelling seriously, and they wrapped up that story arc and have done a bunch of other ones since then. Again, looking forward to it. It's gonna be good. I'm glad they didn't just beat a dead horse by, you know, dragging out one single story arc for nearly infinity, you know? Nigh infinitum, as they would say. That would have made me feel like, okay, I'm glad I quit. Now I'm like, huh, maybe I should have stuck around. It actually got good. It actually got good right after I left. Damn. But at the same time, I still don't regret it. The things I went on to do after quitting MapleStory, not having that compulsion to log in anymore, I don't regret that at all. I had some fun-ass fucking times. Like, between 2013 and well, yeah, when I decided to log back in again in 2023, I did a lot of really cool shit. A lot of really fun stuff that I definitely don't regret. I made some good-ass memories. Strengthened some bonds and friendships with people that are still in my life today. Like, a lot of real-life stuff. I played Grand Theft Auto Online for a while, too, and made some friends there, and that was a fun little era. Didn't stream, still wasn't a streamer or anything back then, so there's no record of that, but there was a few years there where I was into GTA a lot, and those were some fun-ass times, too. Yeah, I went on to do some really fun shit that I definitely don't regret quitting MapleStory for. It gave me the free time to do all the fun shit that I'm thinking of right now that I'm sort of like hinting at. It was good times, man. It was good times. So, I don't feel bad at all. I'm actually just glad that the game's still around for me to come back to it now. And see what I missed during those years that I was like, you know, out and about fucking around. Honestly, it was COVID that put a stop to all of it. Once 2020 hit, that's when, you know, when everything shut down. That was pretty much when I became more of a shut-in again, like I was with MapleStory. I'd almost become kind of extroverted, like IRL and everything. And then COVID brought me back to being sort of just introverted, cozy at home kind of vibe, you know? But now I'm sort of like a hybrid. And that's mostly because the friends I hung out with at that time. I will do one more run, just so I can finish my thought. I was about to stop, but I was like, no, one more run. It's mostly because the friends that I hung out with before, like pre-COVID, during the pandemic and a little after, they've sort of like moved on to the things, you know? So like things didn't go back to how they were, basically. So it's like we still stay in touch, we're still really good friends and all that, but you know, they've moved on to a different stage of their lives. So have I, for the most part. So it isn't like, oh, pandemic's, you know, sort of over. Not really. Never really went away. People just normalized it, but you know, pandemic's over, let's start hanging out again like before. No, things changed, you know? So COVID brought me back to being a shut-in, and then the fact that, you know, our lives kind of, like outside of COVID, our lives kind of just changed and we moved on to other things. That kept me a shut-in after COVID brought me back into that. That's what got me into FF14 though. And it's why I'm doing this now too, streaming and playing this game and planning on going back to MapleStory. But I say I'm a hybrid because I'm also like actually mostly this year, but I want to say I started like in 2021 a little bit. but not. I obviously didn't keep the momentum going. I started like traveling a lot more again. I started going out more. I was kind of testing the waters a little bit in 2021. And then in the past like year and this year, mostly this year, I've started really like doing that, what the dragon just did. I've started really spreading my wings and really getting out there again, like I used to back in pre-COVID era. I've planned a lot of excursions. I'm gonna be going out a lot this year to different places. I have a lot of travel plans, so, and I'm happy. I'm glad that I'm sort of getting back to that groove that I had going before COVID put a stop to all of it. For two things. I know we're doing another run, but it's because I'm kind of on a tangent here that I want to finish. So there's two reasons. Like, I'm happy that I've found a way to sort of balance being able to do this. So being able to be at home a lot enough so to be able to stream, because I really do like it and it is a passion that I have. Like, it is something I'm passionate about, is doing what I'm doing right now, right? Live streaming the video games that I like, yada yada. And I'm glad I've been able to find a balance between being able to continue doing that, but also being able to do the things I started enjoying after MapleStory, but pre-COVID, which was going out and traveling a lot or hanging out with friends and family in real life. Like doing stuff in real life, basically. Outside. I'm glad I'm sort of finding that balance. I'm starting to find that balance of being able to get the best of both worlds. Good stuff, I think. Being able to stay at home, all cozy and play video games and stream them like this, and then from time to time being able to go out and do stuff in the real world too. It's nice. It's nice being able to do both. This is sort of calling back to the whole rant I went about like social media earlier too. It is nice that in the like different jobs that I've been bouncing around between here and there, my coworkers have actually been pretty chill too. You know, not crazy like people on social media, like I was saying earlier. It was just something I forgot to add earlier, so I just thought I'd throw it in there right now, since I'm talking about the differences between being stuck inside and going out and being able to have a nice hybrid balance of both things in my life and yada yada. All that shit that I just went on about. I thought I'd throw that in there. Anyway, now I think we're done. That's pretty much, I think that pretty much wraps up what I was, thinking about and what I wanted to, everything I wanted to say. So we'll finish with that run. I think we're done there. Well, that's weird. Why is the ad timing so far off? I feel like it's because I put the first ad delay way too far. Yeah. Alright, I'll change that later. Anyway, streamer stuff, don't worry about it. Alright, let's get the hell out of here. Listening to the Papulatus theme song. What's the next track that plays? Yeah. Not the best outro music, but the next song isn't either. Alright, let's get the hell out of here then. Back to the lobby. Alright folks, thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate the support across all platforms as always. Please do take care of yourselves, stay safe and don't die, as I always like to say. And until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. And I'll see you all then. Peace. Take it away, Vaughn.
You son of a bitch.
That was the wrong fucking button. Streamer scuff, you know how it is. Anyway, take two.
Dylan! You son of bitch.
Oh!